I'll speak about the reprogram that Vishu initiated, and what I sort of got to learn from the very brief interactions that I had with him. But then, I mean, the benefits are so much that. So this is a picture I got very recently from. I had never seen this one. So I was Googling and I got this young photo of Vishu, which was already shown by one of the talks earlier. Yeah. So let me go on. So the plan is now to talk about Vishu and the REAP program. So Shailaja has given an introduction to the REAP program. So this is something that happens in the planetarium. And so this is a non-formal science education program for undergrads primarily at the BSc level. And so here's a poster for this year. And so it sort of says that this is a main feature is 3-year program offered concurrently with college. So the first year there are interactive sessions, second year advanced topics, third year some research projects, and so on and so forth. So this is sort of something very formal and now coming up. So, but when I sort of got to interact with the planetarium, this was just about starting. And so I didn't even see this poster. So let me go through. So, but I had the fortune to sort of get a history of how this sort of program came to Vishu's idea. Probably he had it for several decades, but then soon after the planetarium was inaugurated, we sort of get glimpses of his ideas coming out in the public. So this is an article published by a freelance journalist in Science Express, 6 November 1990, just about a year after the planetarium was inaugurated. So I'm just highlighting one part of the thing. So there's a description of what the planetarium is, what are the facilities, the dome, projection system, shows, and so on and so forth. So then it says, so far you've been only acquainted with the inside of a planetarium, but Dr. Vishveshwara, the director of the planetarium, has made such plans that the reach of the building extends beyond the building. So he has envisaged a science center that is unique in more respects than one. Okay, so that's sort of the first public glimpses of what he really wanted to do with the planetarium. And so the story goes on, and he says that the planetarium should not end up with just being a good projection setup. According to Vishveshwara, a planetarium must act like a non-formal education center. So this ideology has prompted him and his colleagues in planning a center that caters especially to the needs of creative children. So he also plans to have a laboratory where children can carry out creative experiments under the guidance of educators. So note this is 1819, just 1 year after the planetarium was inaugurated, and he already had these kind of ideas in his repertoire, and he really, so I'm putting this because I'll show you that this is what has happened. So one more set of news item. So again, this is in the Times of India, much later, in 1996. So there's one quote which says that the astrophysics Professor Jawaharlal Planetarium Director Vishveshwara told them, the idea for such a science center which will assist in providing non-formal education to students on various aspects of science was toyed for over 2 years and has taken shape only a few months ago. Okay? So the next part says, so the students are drawn from classes upwards of the 8th class all the way up to the BSc level. So the whole idea is to see that the children become independent handlers of science subjects, with the facilitators only providing necessary guidance. Now look at the way he was planning. So according to him, it's their long-term plan to cover second standard students right up to youths during their PhD. I mean, that's really long, right? I mean, you're just a second standard student and he wants to go from there up to the level of your PhD program. So it's amazing the way he sort of thinks. Look at the next sentence. So he says that while 50 among 100 take to science, 10 may actually become scientists. So Vishveshwara added, the Science Center can ultimately become a liaison institute for other scientific institutions and organizations so that children can go and work in these institutions for higher scientific learning. So what he really had in mind was a sort of a feeder system where he could take the mass of school and college students and push them to a scientific research careers. So that's something amazing. I mean, look at the vision of the person. One more thing. And this is something where it comes out very high. So there's this is regarding a summer program that was organized in 2000. And so this is a report that appeared in the Hindu. So the summer program is just one part of a larger plan to popularize non-formal scientific education among youngsters. And so that's what Vishu was saying. So one of the quotes he says is, he says is the following. So the scientific education is like a pyramid and the school children at the ground level. So he says, so it's important that we get them excited about science. They represent, in fact, tomorrow's scientists. Right? So incidentally, this was the same year that I got introduced to the planetarium, and I was in that summer program. So so this was just after finishing my 12th standard, that is high school. There was a ad in the newspaper saying that there's some science program. They're going to say something about astronomy. Okay, so like many people who want to take to science, astronomy and astrophysics was the first fascination. So you just want to go there and learn. So that's where I went, and that's where I came to know that it's just the tip of the iceberg that I was attending, and there's a much deeper thing inside, and that's when I started attending the planetarium classes. So I was preparing this presentation, and then Googling at 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday, I found something on YouTube, which was amazing. So here, this is a video I'll show you, and I think this is the last video of Vishveshwara. So because this was after the LIGO event, but it's a handheld mobile phone video. So there was this National Science Day celebrations in MES College, which was organized almost exactly 1 year ago. And I have put 2 clips from that video. The whole video is like 1 hour talk on gravity waves detection and so on. And then at the end, there's an interaction session with the audience where people sort of started asking about his experiences in education, what happened when he went to the US, how did he cope up with the system and so on. So I just want to play the video. And
you can't learn science by rote as you learn Veda and then repeat it. But that's what we are made to do in science education. I got 3 gold medals in BSc Honours. I'm ready. Wait, don't. This is something you should not, really, I'm serious. I'm ready to throw away those gold medals because everything I wrote and won was by rote. I did not, one of the questions that was asked, derive Stokes' law, eta, 6 pi, eta, whatever. I had memorized it so that I could write it in 20 minutes flat. World record broken, and I did not understand a single step. When I went to Columbia University, I went there thinking I knew everything. First day I was demolished because my professor said, solve this problem, assignment. Everybody solved, I didn't know how to solve. Why? Because I had been trained to memorize and write back.
Okay. So that's something I'm sure many of us have heard from him, that story about how he was demolished and the very importance of actually learning to solve problems and not just, one of the things he said that in MS he had this question, write an essay on general relativity. And that was the kind of question and that was the kind of training that we used to get and probably are still getting in our universities. So that's something which was really the motivating point, I think, that Vishveshwara had, that we should really liberate students from this kind of a system and get them into problem-solving approaches. So another clip where he actually so I was thinking of telling you how the reprogram works, what are the levels, and how the structure is organized. But then I found this video of the man himself saying it. So
when I went to Columbia University, I realized we learn nothing unless you solve problems. That's why in the planetarium we have the what we call, it's a very structured educational program for children of primary and middle school. They come and play with science, with colors, with light. They make little gadgets, pinhole camera, little microscope. They are inspired. This is, I call this science education in early development. If you take the acronym, it says SEED. When high school students come more structured, they solve problems, they do experiments. This is called science on weekends. SOW. So, and then BSc, 3 years. First year they study and then solve problems. Solve problems, otherwise you don't learn. Basics. Second year, and the teachers are all from premier institutions like RRI, IAA, ISC and so on. And second year more advanced. Third year with the same mentors, they do research problems and many of them write papers. This is called Research Education Advancement Program, REAP. So we have seed, sow, reap. So we have at the planetarium the tree of learning. So I do have hope. Students from MES College and all that, Bala here and one Professor Lokanathan, legendary teacher, they used to teach religiously, even now Bala teaches there. So if anybody, students come there, and one other thing, somebody asked your question, MES College should take pride. You know why? 10 years ago or so, Bala years took about 5-10 students from MES College, started teaching them, made them solve problems. That is why the idea germinated, and I said to Bala, let us do it in a big way. Started at the planetarium, and it thrived, and we have reaped. So it started all in MES College. Now we can.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that was the video. That's sort of a very moving thing. That's MES College, and that's my alma mater. I did my BSc there as well. So I didn't know that Balaiyer was teaching there. I went to the planetarium, and many years down the line, that's when I realized he was there. I mean, we never overlapped. It was already in the planetarium. All right. So the many activities that happen in the planetarium, Shailaja mentioned several of them, right? So for example, one is something called the Science in Action exhibition, which is an exhibition that happens 2 or 3 times a year, where kids from various schools in Bangalore come with several experiments. Either they design themselves or the planetarium helps them set up. They actually have a lot of pride in trying to explain things to visitors, and so that's something that I have been a part of when I was in high school, and sometimes when I go now, it's a very nice thing to sort of understand the perspective of the students there. And particularly, I strongly encourage people who have not gone there to just go and see this thing and argue with the kids. They say, no, sir, that is not the way it works. I know how it works, and I'll show you how it works. So that's something, that's the thing to build, confidence to do science on your own, right? So the REAP classes. So again, so this is the legendary teacher that was mentioned in the video, Professor S. Lokanathan, retired from the University of Rajasthan. So I was one among many such fortunate students sitting there in 2000 to 2003 and getting lectures by Professor Lokanathan and Bala Iyer. This Bala, yeah, Bala Iyer. So this is sort of the training that was sort of given. I mean, rather than the usual BSc rote learning, which is what Vishveshwara was unhappy about, we were actually sort of trained to sort of solve problems and think on your own. And that's really the turning point of trying to choose a scientific career, right? Because I used to really look forward to go on Saturdays and Sundays rather than the whole, just bare Monday to Friday just to enjoy on Saturday and Sundays. So that was sort of the thing that was going on. So we saw this photograph again. So the planetarium also has laboratory facilities, and here's the legendary Patrick Kerr visiting the laboratory and admiring some of the experimental setups there. So one of the nice things about the planetarium is the way they've acquired many experimental and innovative toolkits to sort of give very open-ended experimental ideas. Unlike college things where you're supposed to reproduce something, get that answer, get this, and that's not, we don't, so go do whatever you want. That sort of opens up your mind, and that's really is what should be doing in science, right? So that's the point there. So people did mention this. So I think what Vishu had in mind was there are lots of these nice science programs that happen in the planetarium, which are the science popularization activities. They sort of give you an inkling of, oh, there's something science, something curiosity, and you raise the pike thing. And then you catch them, and put them through this filter of seed, sow, reap. And the whole point is that this acts as a filter to push them into scientific research programs. So many of us have actually gone through this, and I'll show you some statistics. So that's sort of the pyramid that was being talked about. So there is a base, literally the base, Bangalore Science Education, and then there's a gradual pyramid that tapers off, and the quality refines as you go up the hill, right? Okay. So my association was, like I said, I started in the summer of 2000, and so I learned about the weekend study circle there, and then I joined there immediately. So Bala Iyer, Lokanathan, and Shailaja taught me basic physics, mathematics, and astronomy. So there were special lectures by CVV every now and then on special relativity, gravitation, and so on and so forth. But I think one of the crucial things that the planetarium did, and this is really what Vishu was saying as act as a liaison between various scientific institutions, is that it sort of gave you lots of research opportunities in premier research institutions. So for example, I had the opportunity to work with people in the Astrophysics Institute, with N. Kumar. That was a complete eye-opening experience in physics. And then with Madan Rao, Yashodan, and Sriram Ramaswamy, with whom I did my PhD finally, right? So this sort of an opportunity of giving people to really get to talk to leading scientists is something that changes your perspective of how to do science. It sort of gives you the confidence that you can do science even if you're in India. So one of the very, very nice things I love about the planetarium is that they sort of have a continuity of the program. So it was not like, oh, there's only one or two, let's just stop the day and let's forget the thing. It actually turned out that there was one point that I was the only one for a couple of days, and they didn't stop. They still taught. Balaya taught me Lorentz transformations on the board. I was the only one sitting there. So I'll be frank, and I just can say that of my career to be in the planetarium program. So I've been teaching there for the past 2 years now. Okay, so the basic idea, like I said, was to sort of fill the gap between the undergraduate level and the research system. And the usual education system doesn't do this. I mean, if it did, there probably wouldn't be the need for such institutions, right? That's really what we should really aim for. Sort of gives you an opportunity to do what is research at the undergraduate level. And I think it's sort of a unique place in India where you really combine science popularization with non-formal education. The emphasis is really on quality and not just producing numbers. So people, so this is one is to have a program, but there should also be a dedicated team of people who actually come there and teach. So you have to forego your Saturday, Sundays and go there and teach the kids. And so that sort of has, the pillars have been Bala Iyer and Lokanathan for a very, very long time. So Arun Mangalam has been doing it for the past 8 to 10 years. There have been a lot of other people who have been teaching various topics in short modules or longer courses. And so that sort of has shaped many, many people who have come out of the planetarium. So you see a wide spectrum of people from all scientific institutes in India. So there's also the new BioREAP, which is an effort to sort of emulate the physics ideas that was there in the REAP into biological programs. And again, many people from NCBS and ISC have been sort of teaching the kids over the weekend. And more than 100 people have been involved in teaching BioREAP classes from various places in time. Just to give you statistics, so I mean, it's very useful to know what's the outcome of this. So this is a table listing all the people who have gone through the REAP program from 97 onwards. So, and where they are. So they are the names, where they did their master's degree and their PhD degree, the postdocs, and if they are a faculty somewhere where they are sitting. So if you see the number, I don't know if you can read this, this is about 113 up to 2015, 2016. Remember, this is the people, they are the people who have actually passed through the 3 years, not the ones who joined the first year. The first years, then it filters out, then it filters out, then it filters out, and the ones that come out really are very small in number. And so if you notice this, there are several people who actually become faculties in several places. Anjani is here, Gautam, Shivu, and somewhere there. So I was also keen in trying to understand, okay, this was there, but what did he think about it? Did he think it was a success, or was it not so great an effort? So I sort of talked to several people, and I got the feeling that, I mean, he had a very strong conviction about the need for such a program and the methods that he was going to use them to implement that. And so he really sort of made sure that it unfolded as he dreamt. And I got the feeling that CVV was, in fact, very happy about the results of the program and the many programs that he has initiated. So I would like to give an example. So Umesh Mohan joined the planetarium in the 6th class. So that's something like in SO, I think, or SEED, end of SEED. And he went through all of them, and right now he's doing a PhD with Sanjay Sane in NCBS. So that's pretty nice, right? So I'll end with one quote, which was very nice. So this is Hindu, 2003. So there's an article, and so there's a quote there. So Joseph Weber, who sort of was a great pioneer in gravitational wave detection, so he was visiting Bangalore, and so it says that who in 1969 thought he had found the gravitational radiation, had told his good friend Vishveshwara on a visit to Bangalore, if your experiment succeeds, it will be unique in non-formal education. So in fact, Weber wouldn't have known at that time that he was being perfected. Right? So it was really very, very unique and one in all. So I just want to end with this wonderful picture that Reap student has drawn. She's a fantastic artist as well, Madhuri. She just drew it about a week ago. And this is a fantastic picture, a hand-drawn pencil sketch of Vishu with all his famous drawing. It's up there.
Thank you very much, Vijay. Are there any comments, questions? Okay, thank you.